Wheat is a very important crop for the agricultural landscape in Kansas, just by virtue of the number of acres it has. Historically, the biggest pest problems in small grains have probably been aphids. Aphid ecology is really key to a lot of the things that goes on in wheat that affects the rest of the crops throughout the growing season. Small grains are susceptible to aphids because of the way we grow them. We grow a single genotype in a synchronous monoculture over a large area. And this is ideal circumstances for insects that are really good colonizers, that can arrive quickly and reproduce rapidly. And so that's why aphids are so favored in small grains. The interesting thing about wheat is, of course, it's the first crop to really green up in spring, and it grows vigorously, and it can withstand a lot of herbivory. So pests can come in and feed on. Of course, you can graze it up until the first hollow stem. You can do all kinds of things with it, and it will come back and yield well. And so there is really in normal years, not much reason to be worried about aphids in wheat, because really what they're doing is they're serving as a breeding ground for all the predators and parasitoids, all the beneficial insects that, upon maturity of the wheat, will migrate out of the fields and then go on to give us biological control in all our summer crops. Aphids are really kind of the fast food for beneficial insects, okay? They're small, they're helpless, they feed in exposed locations, anything can eat them, doesn't take any special adaptations. And so really, the presence of some aphids in the wheat is critical, because otherwise we don't have any food to foster the reproduction and numerical response of all our wonderful predators. And so we'll talk a bit about those. So let's go and do some sweeping in the wheat and just see what we can find. So basically what we do when we sweep in any crop, and not all crops are suitable for sampling with a sweep net, we take a fixed number of sweeps. So we want to standardize our effort. So that way, when we do it in different locations in the field, different fields, we have a standardized reference in terms of how many insects per 10 sweeps, for example. So there is one of our key aphid predators. These two are Hippodamia convergens, convergent lady beetle. This is our number one predator of aphids. They're well adapted to the Kansas environment. They're aphid specialists, which means that they really don't even have a generation until they find sufficient population of aphids to lay their eggs, because those larvae feed exclusively on aphids, and they need a good supply of aphids for probably 7 to 10 days to complete their development. All aphid predators have very fast development because aphids are a boom and bust commodity. They're here today and they're gone tomorrow. So you cannot waste any time. You have to develop quickly. And so this is true for all the specialized aphid predators, by which I mean this particular species of lady beetle, the convergent lady beetle. Syrphid flies are another specialist on aphids. So their maggots feed on the aphids almost exclusively. And then you have a whole range that feed on aphids but also eat a lot of other things. So predatory bugs like damsel bugs and so forth. And lacewing larvae are another one. They'll do very well with aphids, but they'll eat a lot of other soft-bodied insects like eggs of Lepidoptera. The other property of all these generalist and specialist aphid predators is they're all cannibalistic. Because aphids are a boom and bust commodity, they can collapse as quickly as they explode. And so what all the immature predators do is, once they run out of aphids, they complete development by eating each other, which seems nasty, but it's normal and it's natural. And it's better we have some predators survive than they all die of starvation. And so the important thing we tell the growers is, you might find some insects that are damaging that you think you might be worried about in the wheat, but it's better not to spray if you can possibly avoid spraying, because really what you're going to do is you're going to impact the reproduction and the multiplication of all these beneficial insects. And as we know, in another month or so, when the wheat dries down, turns to yellow, we're going to have a massive immigration of all of these insects. Everybody's going to have to leave. Wheat is over. So if we don't have that period of reproduction, then we're not going to have nearly the population of beneficial insects moving into our summer crops. Because if we don't have that, then where are we going to produce natural enemies to help us with pests in the summer crops? Where are they going to come from? We've got millions of acres of wheat out there. And if we're not producing natural enemies there, where are we going to produce it? Well, one other crop that is greens up early in the year and is a wonderful source of natural enemies is alfalfa. And that's what we're going to look at next.